Assalamualaikum everyone. Today our group will present about steel skeleton frame. So our group member is me, Nur Jazlina binti Muhammad Nazrin, Siti Nur Maisara, Nur Kristina Batrisha, and Nur Syafiqah. First of all, I'm going to introduce you about steel skeleton frame. So, what is the steel skeleton frame meaning? A steel skeleton frame is a construction system where interconnected steel members create the primary load-bearing structure, while walls mainly serve as enclosures rather than supporting the building. Next, these are the general uses of steel skeleton frame. First of all, it supports the entire building structure, allow the construction of taller buildings, and it provides large open interior spaces with fewer columns. Next, steel skeleton frame speeds up the construction process through prefabricated steel components. And lastly, these frames offers high strength and durability. Next, these are the types of buildings that are used for steel skeleton frame. For example, office towers, commercial buildings, shopping malls, hotels, hospitals, airports, industrial buildings, and multi-story residential buildings.
The purpose of steel skeleton frame. First, support building loads. The first function of a steel skeleton frame is to support the building loads. It carries the weight of the roof, floors, walls, and occupants. The steel frame acts as the main structural framework, ensuring that all these loads are safely supported throughout the building. Transfer loads to the foundation. The second function is to transfer load to the foundation. The loads from the roof and floor are first carried by the beams, then transferred to the steel column, and finally delivered to the foundation. This load transfer ensures the building remains safe and stable. Provide structural stability. Another important function is to provide structural stability. All the steel members work together to maintain the building strength and prevent excessive movement or deformation. This helps the structure remain stable under normal operating conditions. Resist wind loads. The steel skeleton frame is also designed to resist wind loads. Strong winds create horizontal force on a building. The steel frame distributes this force throughout the structure, reducing sway and improving the building safety, especially for tall buildings. Lastly, a steel skeleton frame allows larger internal space. Since steel has a high strength to weight ratio, fewer columns are required to support the building. This creates wider open spaces, giving architects greater flexibility in designing the interior layout.
I'm going to talk about the method of installation for steel skeleton frame. First step, site preparation. Before construction begins, the site is clear of vegetation, debris, and any existing structure. The ground is then leveled and surveyed to ensure accurate building positioning. Temporary facilities, access roads, and safety barriers are also installed. Step 2. Foundation works. Concrete foundations and footings are constructed to support the steel structure. Reinforcement bars are installed before concrete is poured. The foundation must achieve the required strength before steel erection begins. Step 3. Anchor bolt installation. Anchor bolts are accurately positioned and embedded into the concrete foundation. These bolts secure the steel columns and ensure proper alignment of the structural frame.
The fourth step is steel column erection. Steel columns are lifted into position using cranes and placed onto the anchor bolts. Temporary braces are installed to keep the columns stable, while engineers check the alignment. Once the columns are correctly positioned, they are securely fastened before the next stage. Next, step 5 is beam installation. Steel beams are lifted by cranes and connected to the steel columns using high-strength bolt or welding. These beams form the primary structure frameworks that support the floors and roof of the building. Next is bracing installation. Diagonal steel bracing members are installed between the columns and beams to improve the stability of the structure. They help the building resist lateral forces such as strong winds and earthquake, ensuring the frame remains stable and safe. After the steel frame has been assembled, an inspection is carried out. Engineers check the element of the structure, inspect the bulk and weld, and ensure that all components meet the required safety and quality standard before construction continues. The final step is floor and roof installation. Steel decking is installed to form the floor system, followed by concrete slabs where required. Roof truss, purlin, and roofing material are then installed to complete the building envelope. At this stage, the main steel skeleton frame is fully complete. Okay, now I will explain the advantage of steel skeletal frame. First, advantage of a steel skeletal frame is height strength. Steel has an excellent strength to weight ratio, which means it can support very heavy loads without requiring large structural member. This makes it suitable for high-rise building, commercial building, and industrial structure where strong structural support is essential. The second advantage is fast construction. Most steel components are fabricated in factories before they are delivered to the construction site. This allows workers to assemble the structure quickly, reducing construction time, labor requirement, and overall project delays. As a result, project can be completed more efficiently. Another advantage is that steel is relatively lightweight compared to reinforced concrete. Although it is lighter, steel still provides excellent structural strength. The lower self-weight reduces the load transfer to the foundation, which can also help reduce foundation size and construction costs. Steel skeleton frames also have excellent long span capability. Steel beam can span a large distance without the need for many interior columns. This creates spacious and flexible floor layout, making the system ideal for shopping malls, warehouse, airports, hall, and office buildings. The large advantage is flexible design. Steel structure can be easily modified, extend, or renovate if the building needs to be expanded in the future. Architect and engineer also have greater than flexibility because steel can be fabricated into different shapes and sizes to suit various types of building.
Although steel skeleton frame offer a many benefits, there are also several disadvantages that need to be considered. The first disadvantage is high initial cost. Steel is generally more expensive than traditional construction materials such as concrete. In addition, the transportation of steel member and the use of heavy machinery such as crane can further increase the overall construction cost. The second disadvantage is corrosion. Steel can rust when it is exposed to moisture, water, and harsh environment conditions. If corrosion is not properly controlled, it may reduce the strength and durability of the structure. Therefore, protective coating and regular maintenance are necessary to prevent rusting. Another disadvantage is fire vulnerability. Although steel does not burn, it loses strength when exposed to very high temperature. During a fire, steel member may deform or weaken, which can affect the stability of the building. For this reason, fire-resistant coating or other fire protection systems are usually required. In addition, steel construction requires skilled labor and specialized equipment. Workers must have proper knowledge and experience in steel erection, welding, and bolting work to ensure the structure is installed safely and accurately. Finally, steel structure require regular maintenance through their service life. Inspection and protective treatment are needed to ensure the structure remain in good condition. Therefore, while steel skeleton frame provide excellent structural performance, these disadvantages must be carefully managed during their design, construction, and maintenance stage. In conclusion, steel skeleton frame is one of the most important and widely used structural systems in modern construction. The structural system consists of steel column and beam that work together to support building load and transfer them to the foundation. It is commonly used in commercial building, industrial facilities, and high-rise development because of their strength, durability, and efficiency. Through this presentation, we have discussed the main function of steel skeleton frame, the installation process, as well as their advantages and disadvantages. We learned that steel skeleton frame provide many benefits, including high strength, faster construction, long span capability, and flexibility in building design. However, challenges such as high initial cost, corrosion, fire vulnerability, and maintenance requirements must also have been taken into consideration to ensure the long-term safety. Overall, steel skeleton frame remain a highly reliable and effective construction system that continue to play a major role in the development of modern building. Thank you for your attention. This is from our group. We hope this presentation has helped you gain a better understanding of steel skeleton frame structure.